open.
Good morning, everyone. Rose Coleman coming to you live from my craft room here in Calgary, Alberta. I've got my coffee. It is Friday. I'm so excited. It's time for Fun Fold Friday. If you're a regular joiner here on my Facebook page, you know that I love to join you live with a coffee, 9 o'clock every morning, Monday to Friday. And Friday is my special day where I do a fun fold card. So it's featuring a different way to fold a card. And, we all make the basic cards where they fold in half, right? You know, your normal 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 size. But I love to do different things. There's so many techniques and so many different ways to make fun cards, interactive cards, things that pop, things that move, sliding cards. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways to make cards. Today I'm going to show you a quick and easy fun fold card that you do not have to spend hours and hours making. You can change it up. You can use whatever designer series paper you have. You can use your stamps, ink. It's just a really versatile fun fold that I'm going to show you today. Hi Karen, thanks for joining me. Thanks for everybody who's popping on this Friday. Hi Phyllis, good morning. I'm going to play with one of my favorite stamp sets and die sets from the annual catalog. Today we're going to play with Sweet as a Peach. Love this bundle. It is definitely a must-have, and I have a class coming up in August that you can do virtually from anywhere across Canada. This one will be a whole bunch of tutorials that you will get when you purchase this bundle with me, and I'll give you more details about that. If you're not on my email list, drop me a line, private message, or even here, and let me know if you'd like to be on my email list of my upcoming classes and events. Hi Heather, good morning. Thanks for joining me. I have lots coming up, so I'm super busy here in my craft room getting ready for all of my upcoming things, and I want to keep you in the loop. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to flip the camera. If you would like to share my video, I would appreciate that. I have prizes. Today I'm going to be doing not on this video, but I'm going to pop on a bit later. And I have prizes for everybody who has been sharing, commenting, liking my videos. There's a lot of people, you guys, and I have baseball caps in a jar. And I'm going to and your name is on the back of each of those little baseball caps. This is my hats off to summer promotion. And I want to give back prizes to you guys for supporting me and being here with me. As you guys know, I'm also doing a large ball cap promotion. When you spend a minimum $50 in my online store, when you get to $50, when you get 6 of those ball caps, you're going to get a $30 shopping spree with me. So I keep track of your orders, and every minimum $50 purchase that you spend with me, they are separate purchases throughout the month of July and August. I'm going to notify you when you hit 6 of those separate purchases, and you're going to get a $30 shopping spree. So lots of fun stuff. Okay, so let's flip the camera, and I'm going to show you. I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right in front of me, but I just want to do a little bit of die cutting. I was a little bit behind today. Usually I like to get the die cutting done ahead of the game, but it didn't happen today. My husband and I got up and we did our walk already before the smoke and the heat gets too bad, so that's already done. So now I am eager to get stamping. Hi, Bet. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's flip the camera and I'll point you down at my work surface here. Here we go. Okay, so let's just show you what I've got in front of me. Okay, I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. And I hope I haven't lost you. If by turning my phone like this, I'm turning it to point down at my work surface, and I can raise up a little bit here so you can get a better view. Okay, so here we are. We have our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I am going to bring in the bundle that I'm playing with today. So this bundle is the Sweet as a Peach bundle. You get the photopolymer stamp set. You also get the dies when you buy the bundle. And look at all the gorgeous little dies you get. Hi, Lena. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for sharing, Heather and Phyllis. I appreciate that. Hi, Carol. Okay, so we're going to do some die cutting first because these are photopolymer stamps. I love to do my die cutting first, and then I can put my machine away, and then I can get to the stamping, right? Which is the fun part. Okay, so I've got my peach on here, the big peach. We're going to play with that one today. The leaf that goes with it. Look at these teeny tiny little flowers. I love them. You can do so many different things with those. I'm going to do some die cutting and get those flowers. And while I'm running it through, why not do a whole bunch, right? It's better to load up your platform with all your dies, save yourself some time by just cutting as many things as you can. So I'm putting my balmy blue here. I think you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, balmy blue. I've got my dies on top. I've got my old olive here. And look at all the little tiny leaves that you get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's tons and tons of leaves. So why not load them all up and get all the leaves that you can, right? In one swipe. I love Stampin' Up! Is really doing such a great job with all of their product offerings. You get so many different things. And I'm just peeling up these. They stick them on with this really sticky tape. You guys know this tape here? It is very sticky. I guess they don't want our dies to fall off. Haven't had a chance to stock up on my magnetic sheets. I'd like to put magnetic sheets in my case here to hold my dies in place. Okay, I got all my leaves on there. Let's do some peaches and leaves, the bigger leaves. So I'm just going to bring in my scrap bin. This is how I keep my white scraps. I just keep them in a bin. And I'm going to just layer those on here. Now this one, I can actually do 2 at a time because it is just an outline, okay? If it had detailed cuts, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't put 2 pieces of cardstock on top of one another. But because it's just the outline, I can get away with it. The machine is strong enough to do that. So let's see, we've got everything on here. Let me get my top plate and we can run this through. Where is my top plate? Oh, here it is. All right, so we're just gonna back this up, put the top plate on. This is the number 3 plate. So we have to make a sandwich, plate on the bottom, plate on the top, and we're just gonna roll this through. All the cracking sounds are normal. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We've got our, look, it just all falls out, right? We've got our peaches, 2 of them. Oh, this is what happened to my second peach. Okay, I didn't have my paper lined up. See, what not to do on Facebook Live. That's okay. We can always do another one of those. Okay. Usually it works if you're careful and you make sure your paper's lined up, you can get 2 pieces. Look at all those little leaves. They're just falling out, waiting for me here. Like, just so easy. All right, I'm just going to put these back onto my sticky piece here. And just so I don't lose them. And look at the flowers. Oh, they're so cute. And these ones are detailed, but I did not double them up. Let me just hold that up closer to show you. Look at all the little flowers I've got and the little leaves. I'm just going to swipe those off onto my work surface here. And then they will just be ready for me. But I do need another peach. So let me just run that through again. And get another one. Okay, so let's just quickly grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to cut another peach. You could do your stamping first. I had a question in my from our team the other day asking that specific question. Do you do your stamping and then put your die cut over top? How do you keep it from slipping? And those are all fantastic questions. So I'm going to answer those here for you guys too, in case you're new and you're wondering about that. So here's what I do. If I'm doing red rubber, okay, so our cling mount is our red rubber. It's really, really hard to see. Like if I were to cut this out and then my stamps were not photopolymer, if they were red rubber, it's really hard to see to line up a red rubber stamp on a tiny little die cut. So I don't typically do that for red rubber, but photopolymer, I can do that because you can see exactly where you're stamping. So what I mean is my peach here, I'm going to put that on a block and I'm going to be able to stamp right on top of that die cut. So I would only do that for photopolymer. And same thing with this leaf. So I've got these all done. So now I can grab my leaf stamp right here, and I'll be able to stamp on top. So, so with photopolymer, I like to do this. With red rubber, I like to do stamp and then put the die cut on, and I hold it in place with a sticky note. So what I mean by that is, pretend I had this peach stamp. I stamped it on here, it's peachy. I take my die and then I put that over my image. I would line it up and make sure it doesn't move, because we don't have a magnetic platform. We have to make sure that this doesn't shimmy, okay? So when it shimmies, then you're gonna cut off maybe the side of your peach. So if you have your peach stamped and you're putting your die cut over top, this is a tip. Take a piece of sticky note or a piece of washi tape, lay it right on top, just like that. That's gonna hold your die in place and keep it put, stay put, so that when you run it through the machine, it's not gonna move on you. So that's how I do that with red rubber. That's my trick for red rubber. But what I've done here with the die cutting, that's what I do for photopolymer, and it saves me a whole bunch of time. Like when I'm preparing for classes and I have to send die cuts, this is how I do it. I do my stamp, I do my cutting, and I send the cut pieces to my customers, and then they can use their photopolymer stamps and they can stamp their images. Okay, so while we've got the stamps and everything out, why not, let's do this part. I know I'm doing a fun fold today, but we're gonna get to that. I thought I'd do the stamping first. So let's just zoom in here a little bit. All right, we're gonna use 2 colors of ink for our peaches today. We're gonna use pale papaya, and we're going to use Calypso Coral, because, you know, no 2 peaches are ever the same, and they're never like a full straight color, right? They have shading and stuff like that. So we're going to do that. We're going to shade our peaches. And what I'm going to use is my finger dauber right here. I have a Calypso Coral finger dauber. So that's for my darker color. I'm going to take my peach stamp and I'm going to ink it up with pale papaya like that. I hope I'm not too close, you guys. Good morning, Janet. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to open my Calypso Coral ink, okay? Take my finger dauber, and then I'm going to hold my stamp. I'm going to dip into my Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to gently tap a little bit of Calypso Coral ink onto my stamped image here, okay? So I'm just adding a little bit of darker color. And then if you take your time and you're chatting or whatever, you can just like huff on it with your breath. And that just reintroduces the moisture. I'm not too close. Okay, good, Phyllis, thank you. And then I'm going to take this stamp. Now, here's the beauty of photopolymer. You can see exactly where you're stamping. I'm going to press that down onto my white cardstock. And watch what happens when I peel it off. You get a 2-toned shaded peach, because that's how peaches look in real life, right? So then again, we can do that again, but I would not go into my pale papaya. This is a really important step. We've got pale papaya and Calypso Coral. I don't want to take this peach now and stamp it into my pale papaya, because it has residual Calypso Coral ink on it. So that's okay. I'm just going to always have my chamois close by, clean off my stamp, and now I can repeat the process. So I'm just going to ink up with pale papaya, and I'm just going to dip into my Calypso Coral and just tap a little bit of ink around here. You can go around the edges if you want. And there we go. So now we're going to stamp on the other peach right here. Like that. Press it down. And there we have. This one didn't get a lot of ink on that side, but that's okay. You can always do it again. I'm just going to clean up my stamp, go back into the pale papaya, and let's see if we can just add just a touch more color, there we go, to fill up that peach. Don't they look more realistic when you do a shaded technique like that? I'm gonna leave those off to the side. Let's deal with the leaves now. So for the leaves, I'm gonna stamp with, let's see, I'm gonna use Pear Pizzazz for my leaves. Let me grab my Pear Pizzazz ink pad. Here we go. Love Pear Pizzazz. It's one of my favorite greens. So I've got my stamp, got my die cuts ready to go. I'm just going to ink up with Pear Pizzazz here, and I'm going to lay that right over top. And there we have our leaves. Let's do the other one. There. Anybody else like to do your stamping like this? your card making. If you know you're going to use die cuts, get it all done, get it organized, and then the rest is pretty simple, right? Okay, so let's move on to our fun fold card now. So I'm just going to back it up a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. So I have a piece of cardstock. I'm just going to move all of these little die cuts over to the side of my work surface so you can see what I'm doing. So for our fun fold, I have a piece of basic white that measures 8.5 wide by 5.5, and I'm going to score it in the middle at 4 1/4. Okay, like we normally do to make a card, right? So I'm going to use my light gray score tool, score it in the middle. So this is our normal card front. But now we're going to take our cardstock and we're going to put it back into the paper cutter, and we're going to cut off 1 1/4 inch strip. Okay, so I'm cutting this strip off. So now the front of my card is going to be a little bit shorter. You like how those peaches turned out? I do too. I love the two-tone. You can do that with tons of different stamps. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're just taking off 1 1/4 inches from the side. We're going to hold on to this piece. We're actually going to pop that back into the paper cutter. I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Okay, so we want a piece that looks like this. All right, so we've got a scored piece and we've got a cardstock base. So now what I'm going to do is I have some layers here. From the designer series paper, I went ahead and cut these beautiful balmy blue stripes. And this panel is going to go on here. And let me see if I can grab my ruler. I don't know the measurement offhand, so I'll let you know. So this measures 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to go on here. This is going to be my front panel of my card. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And then that's done. Let me grab my glue. Okay, so this is my front panel of designer series paper. You could even put these beautiful flowers, peach flowers on the front, but I'm going to use the blue stripes today. So that's going over here. Line that up. There we go. So I have here a piece of pear pizzazz that measures 2 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to do a technique that I haven't done for a long time. It's called the tearing technique. So what you do to tear is you just take your cardstock and you make these short little tears like that. Hi, Kay. Thanks for joining me. No worries about being late. You haven't missed much. I've just done some stamping and a little bit of cutting and scoring, and you know the replay is always here. Okay, so there we have, see that beautiful jagged edge? That is called the tearing technique. Now you're probably thinking, how can tearing be a technique? Well, it's not like ripping. It's not just, tearing. You can get some beautiful jagged edges. You can go ahead and sponge this now and make more depth and dimension. You can, if you were making a layer of like sand or grass or something, you can take this extra piece and layer it in the background. If you're making a scene, I just wanted to have a little bit of a jagged edge on there just for some, it gives a good dimension, right? So I'm going to take a piece of Calypso Coral and I'm going to just layer that on the back. So that's just going to make that nice tearing edge stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to add some glue to the side and layer these on top of one another and just have that little bit of Calypso Coral peeking out. Okay, now I didn't cut my designer series paper, but I was looking at this pear pizzazz piece and I was like, oh, should I stamp on it? What should I do with it? Should I emboss it? There's tons of things you can do. You can emboss it with an embossing folder, or you can bring in, how about some paper? So how about the matching paper with the flowers? I think I want to accent this. So the reason I didn't cut my paper is because I didn't know how far in I was going to tear. So now that I have the final project, I can go ahead and take a look here and see how big I want to cut my paper. And I think 1 3/8. So not quite 1 1/2 because that will cover up too much of my pear pizzazz. So 1 3/8. So I'm going to take my paper now, pop it into my paper cutter, and I'm going to cut a strip at 1 3/8, which is one little notch back from the 1 1/2. So 1 1/2 would be 1 4/8, right? So we're going to go 1 3/8. Use my cutting tool, cutting blade, and then I'm going to make it the same height. It's going to be 5 1/4. So there's my designer series paper. going to put that on there because the paper is so beautiful. You want to show as much of it as you can, right? So that is going to sit on here like this. And there we've got a little bit of pizzazz sticking out. So you could do that, or you could flip it over. If you really want a lot of green, you could do the green pattern. So many options with our paper. I'm going to use the flowers. I think that'll look really pretty on the side. So we're going to put some glue on here. Okay. And now, remember that piece that I cut off the front, the 1 1/4 inch strip? I'm going to bring that in and we're going to put that on to our card base now. So we're just going to line this up here. So this piece here, we're going to put some glue on the back tab right here. And this is called a flip card, a flip front card. So we're putting a panel on the front of our card that's going to flip open. The recipient, when they get the card, they have to flip it to be able to get inside the card. So I'm just holding that in place so that that glue has a chance to just set up a little bit. So there we go. We're just putting glue on the back of that 1 inch piece like that. And then we're going to put our panel right in here like this. So this is our flap that's going to come over this panel. Okay. So let's go ahead and stick down all of these layers on the inside of our card right over here. And I'm just lining that up with the edge of our card base here. I'm just going to leave about a 1 1/8 inch border all the way around. There we go. And now we have, this is the front part. This is going to be the flip part of the front of the card. Now, if this is a bit too long, if you want to trim it, no big deal. You can trim it. You can just bring in the paper cutter and trim this little edge. It's a little bit longer than I would like, so I'm just going to trim off about 1/4 inch. It's going to be covered up anyway, but you don't want it to be, you want it to be able to fit nicely into an envelope. So there's the front of my card. Okay, so I have some layers now for the flip part. So this is Calypso Coral, and the measurement of this piece is 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. That's going to sit right on the front here. This is going to be the front of my card like this. And I can see that I have not trimmed off enough. So let's trim this off maybe a little bit more, maybe 3/4. So that would be 1 1/4 inch. So you can just eyeball it. It really depends on how big of the panel you put on the front of your card, how much you trim off. You just need to have a little bit here to be able to put the glue on. So I'm going to just bring this closed. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to my flip panel here. And this is going to be my front. So I want to line this up, make it nice and square. And that's going to sit right there. Then we have another layer of balmy blue, which is slightly smaller. The measurement of this one is 3 by 3 1/2. So we're going to go ahead and layer that down. All about the layers, this card. 3 by 3 1/2 for the balmy blue. And we're pulling all of the beautiful colors in from the paper, the gorgeous, gorgeous Sweet as a Peach paper. Now don't forget, this paper is 15% off right now. It is gorgeous. I have to place an order today and stock up on more so I don't run out. So 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. Now I have a piece of the pear pizzazz. Look at all the colors coming through. I just love it. Okay, so we're just going to put some glue on here. Layer that on top, just like that. I don't think you could ever have too many layers on a card front. What do you guys think? There we go. We've got our flippy front there. And last but not least, we have a small piece here of basic white. That is where I'm going to do my stamping of my greeting. And it measures 2 1/2 by 3. Okay, so 2 1/2 by 3 for my front. And I also need to just grab a piece of Calypso Coral, another piece. So I forgot to tell you that you need 2 pieces of Calypso Coral that measure the same size just to make it nice and clean. So 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. I just don't want my recipient to see this band on the inside, so we're going to cover that up. So 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And grab my cardstock piece here because I forgot to cut 2 pieces. So 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we can go ahead and make that layer, that sandwich layer, and put that right on the back here, just like that. And another layer. Don't you just love how all the Stampin' Up! Colors just coordinate with one another? It's the best part, actually. I never have to worry about things matching because I just know that they're always going to match. There we go. And it actually gives it a little bit of weight so that it naturally falls. You could easily put a magnet if you wanted to close it with a magnet, but I'm just going to leave mine just like that. We're going to do some stamping on here, and we're going to now arrange our peaches on here as well. Okay, so we've got 2 peaches that we can layer. Oh, I just love it. So beautiful, this stamp set. There's so much you can do with it. Let's bring in our stamps and see what greeting we should put on here. So we have happy birthday. Thanks so much. Sweet as a peach. I'm going to make a happy birthday because, you know, we can always use happy birthday cards. So let's open this up and grab the happy birthday. I love the font that they've chosen to put in the stamp set. It's just so, I don't know, it's just really clean and nice. And I'm going to be using this one for a long, long time. Okay, so we're going to stamp this with Calypso Coral. You could also stamp with Pear Pizzazz if you wanted to, Old Olive, but I'm just going to keep all of the peachy colors. Happy birthday. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to just put all this together. Now this is going to sit, as I said, right up here like this. And let's see. I like the clean look of the white. I was thinking of sponging, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it, okay? I'm going to leave my peaches. I'm going to leave my layers and just put the peaches on top now. So we've got a leaf here, and we can put right on top like that. And we've got this one that can go this way, like that. And then we just arrange everything. Okay, so I'm going to put my dimensionals on my peaches first. So each peach is going to have 2 dimensionals. I just sat down here, so I hope you can still hear me. Sometimes when I move around my craft room, the volume goes up and down, and that's just because I'm moving. I'm sorry about that. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, so let's put the peaches on first, and then we will arrange the greenery, the leaves. Now we can put the leaves in behind, or we can put them on top. Let's see. I'm going to put them on top, I think. Just a little bit. I don't want to hide them too much. Maybe I'll put one behind and one at the top. So there's this one. I'm going to put this one out front, like that. And then this one, yeah, I'm going to put that one in the back. Just doing all the layers here now, all the fun stuff. So there's my back peach and my front peach. And then we can accent it with these little flowers. So I'm going to use my glue, and I'm just going to put little dabs wherever I want to put one of those flowers. These little flowers are going to be my embellishments. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. It's here somewhere. Maybe not. It has, oh, here it is. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool and grab those flowers and put them in place. So I've got little ones, little tiny blue flowers, big ones. So pretty, these little flowers. Make sure you flip them over and get the right side. There is a right and wrong side of these. There we go. That one. Let's see, we'll put another bigger one down here. And one more small one up here. And then we also have the little leaves. We can put a couple of those just randomly in here. Get my glue going. One there and one there. I love all the little bits. They're so fun. And you can just add as many as you want. So let's put a leaf right there. What else have we got? We've got a double leaf here. Put one of those in there. And see. So you can put glue on the leaves as well if you want to. So let's do that. I'm going to stick this one up like that. And let's see, I've got another little bit of glue there. Let's put another flower right there. Oh, I just love this so much. Okay, so if you're just joining me, here is my focal point. I'm going to let the peaches shine. And it is refreshing. Thank you, Kay. It makes me hungry for peaches too. I agree. Now I'm going to bring in my pearls, and I'm going to embellish this card with pearls. So each of these little centers is going to get a pearl, and this is just going to bling up my card just nicely, nice and soft pearl, and every flower is going to get one. Let's see if I can get them all up here. Make sure you got them in the center, press them down. Can never have too much bling, right? Pearls, rhinestones, and I have put 6 on here. I didn't plan to put that many, but who's counting, right? The recipient will know. They'll know how much I love them and how much I want them to have a happy birthday, because I took the time to bling up their card for them. And we're just going to put this front panel on here, just like that. Got a little bit of glue oozing out. Let's just wipe that up. There we go. I absolutely love the Sweet as a Peach stamp set and the matching dies. So much fun. Thank you, Janet. You're most welcome. So this is the front of my flip card, my front flip card. And this is the inside. Of course, you can go ahead and stamp the inside as well. So I said, happy birthday. Hope your day is sweet as a peach. Oh my God, that has to go on the inside, right? So hope your day is sweet as a peach. Oh yeah. And let's do that stamping and finish this card off on the inside. Okay, so I'm gonna do sweet as a peach in Calypso Coral to match. Put that right there. And then I think I'm going to use the matching Pear Pizzazz and do Hope Your Day Is As. Me too, Karen. I love it. It is so refreshing. And all of the fun stuff in this bundle. There, you get the jars, the paper, the stamp set, the dies. Hope your day is as sweet as a peach. You can also stamp a peach on the inside if you wanted to as well. I'm just going to leave mine like that for now. So that's it. The front flip card, it's super easy. All you need to do is remember to cut off 1 1/4 inch off your front panel. Use that 1 1/4 inch strip to make your flap. Cover it with some side panel here. Make your front flap, and you can totally make this card any orientation. I've done mine, of course, this way, the portrait way. You could turn it landscape, make it like this, make something different. I would love to see what you guys do with this fun fold. I got this idea from Brandy Cox, who is one of the top demonstrators in the US. She didn't make this exact card, but this was a card fold that I followed her. I watched her YouTube video, and it was just fantastic. She had some different ideas, some different cards, different stamp sets that she used, but I could not get the peaches off my mind. I was like, I want to make another card with the peaches. So it's summer. The peaches are lovely right now. Go grab yourself some. And I hope I've inspired you to pull out your stamps, ink, and paper and to make a card, send a card, share a card. And I hope you'll join me. I'm going to join you later on today. I've just got to get my room organized and get my prizes ready, and I will be back to share my prizes with you this afternoon. It's Friday. The weekend's upon us. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support, for your orders that you've placed with me online. I appreciate you so, so much. This is my full-time job. And all of the people that have signed up for my classes, thank you so much. My club members, my team members, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I will be back this afternoon. I'll give you a 10-minute heads up. I'll post something to let you know when I'm going live, and then you can come join me. Thanks again, everybody. Thank you, Corrine. Thank you, Janet. Take care and have a wonderful weekend. If I don't see you later on come back and watch the replay anyway to see if you won. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Won't leave it up to fate. Now I cannot wait to inspire, create, and share.